Welcome back to News Nexus, your gateway to global insights, financial news, and geopolitical analysis. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most significant financial power plays of our time: how the Chinese renminbi could challenge the dollar, a currency war. Is the US dollar's reign as the world's reserve currency under real threat? Let's unpack the story. For over 7 decades, the US dollar has been the undisputed king of global finance. Whether it's international trade, oil contracts, or central bank reserves, the dollar has dominated them all. Currently, nearly 60% of global foreign exchange reserves are held in US dollars. Why? Because the US economy has long been viewed as stable, trustworthy, and highly liquid. But today, cracks are beginning to appear. The global economic landscape is evolving, and new challenges are emerging. One currency, in particular, is making strategic moves to challenge the status quo: the Chinese renminbi. Known as the yuan, the renminbi was once tightly controlled and largely confined to China's domestic economy. But over the past decade, China has taken bold and deliberate steps to elevate the yuan onto the global stage. One of the first major milestones came in 2016, when the International Monetary Fund added the renminbi to its special drawing rights basket, placing it alongside elite currencies like the euro, the pound sterling, the Japanese yen, and of course the US dollar. This was more than symbolic. It marked China's arrival as a serious player in the world of global finance. China's efforts didn't stop there. Through the ambitious Belt and Road Initiative, a trillion-dollar infrastructure project connecting Asia, Africa, and Europe, China has encouraged many countries to settle trade in renminbi rather than US dollars. The strategy is simple: strengthen economic ties through infrastructure investments while promoting the use of China's currency in international transactions. Could this be the beginning of the end for the dollar's global dominance? China isn't relying on hope or chance. It's making strategic, calculated moves to position the renminbi as a serious contender. One of the most significant steps was the creation of the Cross-Border Interbank Payment System, or CIPS. This is China's alternative to SWIFT, the global financial messaging network dominated by Western financial institutions. CIPS enables international banks to clear and settle renminbi-denominated transactions directly, bypassing the need for US dollars. Another game-changing move is the rise of the Petro Yuan. As the world's largest oil importer, China has convinced major oil producers, including Russia and Iran, to accept renminbi for oil payments. This breaks away from the long-established practice of oil being exclusively priced in US dollars, a system known as the petrodollar. By offering the Petro Yuan, China is directly undermining the dollar's supremacy in global energy markets. Additionally, China has signed more than 40 bilateral currency swap agreements with countries ranging from Brazil to Pakistan. These agreements allow central banks to exchange their local currencies directly for renminbi, eliminating the need to use US dollars as an intermediary. While these measures might seem technical, they represent a steady erosion of the dollar's global grip. But China's ambitions don't stop at conventional banking. It is also leading the race to develop central bank digital currencies. The digital yuan, or ECNY, is a state-backed digital currency that is fully integrated into China's financial system. Unlike decentralized cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum, the digital yuan is entirely traceable and controlled by the Chinese government. The digital yuan could allow Beijing to bypass traditional international financial infrastructure altogether. Imagine a world where cross-border payments are completed instantly, without routing through US-controlled clearinghouses or financial intermediaries. For smaller nations, especially those facing US sanctions, this presents a very attractive alternative. China has already conducted large-scale pilot programs in cities like Shenzhen, Suzhou, and Chengdu. and is now actively expanding the digital currency through international partnerships. Could the digital yuan be the ultimate weapon in China's currency war against the US dollar? It's a question economists and policymakers around the world are asking. Of course, the US isn't standing still. America continues to hold two critical advantages: global trust and the US Treasury market. Even amid global tensions, foreign governments and institutional investors still turn to US Treasury bonds as the ultimate safe haven. During times of crisis, demand for dollars spikes, not for the renminbi. And there's the dollar's immense network effect. The more the dollar is used, the more essential it becomes to international trade and finance. Breaking this cycle would require not just bold financial policies from China, but a fundamental shift in global trust. Something that can take decades to achieve. The currency war is about more than just economics. It's a geopolitical contest for power and influence. The United States has long used its control over the dollar-based financial system as a strategic tool. Economic sanctions against countries like Russia, Iran, and Venezuela are only effective because of the dollar's dominance in global trade and finance. By promoting the renminbi, China is working to construct a parallel financial world, one where American sanctions hold less sway and where the rules of the game are no longer written in Washington. This is more than a battle over currencies, it's a contest over the future of global governance. But China's push to dethrone the dollar comes with significant risks. The renminbi is still not fully convertible, and China's capital controls restrict the free flow of money across its borders. This creates uncertainty for foreign investors and limits the currency's appeal as a genuine global reserve asset. China's financial system is also characterized by limited transparency and heavy government intervention, which can deter international confidence. Investors remain wary of committing too deeply to a currency that is so tightly influenced by political decisions rather than purely market forces. And geopolitical tensions between China and the West, including trade disputes, human rights concerns, and accusations of intellectual property theft, make many countries hesitant to fully embrace the renminbi. These challenges mean that while the renminbi has enormous potential, it still lacks the global trust and stability enjoyed by the US dollar. So what does the future hold? The most likely scenario is a shift toward a multipolar financial system. Instead of one currency dominating the global economy, we may see the US dollar, the euro, and the renminbi share influence on a more equal footing. This transition is already underway. Countries like Russia and China are increasingly settling trade in their own currencies, bypassing the dollar. Saudi Arabia has openly discussed the possibility of accepting renminbi for oil payments. And central banks around the world are slowly diversifying their reserves, reducing their reliance on US dollars in favor of other currencies. This quiet but steady transformation signals the emergence of a new financial era, one where multiple currencies compete for influence and power. In this landscape, the renminbi could become a major global player, even if it never fully dethrones the dollar. So, should you worry? For now, the US dollar remains the world's dominant reserve currency, but the renminbi's rise is no accident. It's the result of careful planning, strategic policymaking, and a long-term vision for reshaping the global order. A currency war is underway, and whether it ends in confrontation or coexistence, one thing is certain: the global financial landscape will never be the same. Thanks for watching News Nexus. If you found this deep dive informative, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay informed, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next video.